You're listening to The Real Short Box, a comic book podcast made for geeks by geeks.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in and listening to The Real Short Box. My name is Donald.
My name is Dr. Kevin.
My name is Professor Xavier Jarrett. No, that doesn't work at all. My name's Jarrett.
It could be Xavier. I don't know. I got nothing.
Yeah, no, it's just not going to work. I can't use that character. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
You might get sued by Disney for doing that. You know that, right?
Yeah.
That's true.
He's going to get the mouse coming over and putting cuffs on him, and then kinky stuff will happen.
You're going to jail!
Maybe some shady stuff will happen.
Right.
Oh!
Speaking of shady stuff, yeah, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about shady shops, basically comic shops that do some shady shit.
Yeah.
And of course, we want to preface this with stating that we're not talking about every shop. There's a lot of comic shops out there that are super nice, super cool.
Lord's work.
Yeah, one of them, We Can Be Heroes. We're going to mention them multiple times during this podcast because
good people.
They do a really good job of like being fair and honest, and you can follow them on Instagram. They do a show, Two Guys, One Box, I believe, every Wednesday. Follow them on Instagram. They do a hell of a job on that, and they're very, very good to their customers. So we're not talking about them. We're not talking about...
They love their customers. They love their customers.
Right. We're not talking about Spiro's Heroes. They're good people there. We're not talking about House of Secrets. They're good people
They're
there.
good people
Nerd, good people there. We're talking about some shady ass shit that takes place, stuff that we've seen over the years in our comic book lives, and there's been some stuff,
and especially recently. And and just for the record, I don't think we'll name any names of shops just because
legal issues.
Yeah, well, legal issues, and also we don't need to, because I think you as the audience who are collectors will go, okay, I know that experience. I've had that happen. And I definitely think what we will be talking about would definitely be the recent kind of vibe in certain comic shops. And now I will always support my local comic shop because they're they're always small business. They're always small business. There's very few that have like,
Mile High, unless you're Mile High or Metropolis, then yeah.
Yeah. And even Mile High has had its issue, its problems, like keeping their business. So it's a business that we love. It's a business we grew up with, but because it's become a pop culture phenomenon with the superhero movies and all the IPs, of the characters, comic shops have gotten some new hype, which is great, which I fucking love. But with that comes people who are greedy and people who want to exploit the buyer. And that is what we were talking about today.
I had a shop one time that told me that if I showed them my testicles, they would give me a book for cover price.
Are you serious?
It turns out it wasn't anybody that actually worked for the shop. So
you got to make sure.
Yeah.
On that. Yeah.
Where are you going out at night, man? Are you all right? Oh, my goodness.
So I shop at shops at night. I can't help it.
Yeah, there's no comic shops behind the Del Taco. There's just they're not there, dude.
Well, it was on Craigslist, and I believe it.
Wow.
Hey, kid, come get your comics.
Good Lord, man.
Show me a picture
by the
of your
dumpster
chest.
by the dumpster behind the Del Taco.
So I'll start off with some stories. Like, okay, as we're recording this, there's been a lot of hype which I love. But there's been hype with comics now. People going like, hey, there's going to be a first appearance in this book coming up. Like the previews will tell you about it now. So basically which is smart. It kind of reminds me of the 90s with like Image and stuff like that. I'm saying like, these books are coming out. Get ready. You're going to want to get it before it sells out, even though there's a gazillion copies. But it creates hype. But what's happening now is a lot of comic shops, or some comic shops, are taking this thing and going, okay, a lot of people are coming in for this book, which should be cover price when you come in, because that's kind of the unspoken rule, right?
The day the comic is released is the day it should be cover price, yes.
Right. But now technically comic shops are private businesses, right? And they're I don't know if there's actually a rule where they have to do that. because as we've seen, here, I'm going to give you an example. Like we were talking off air. I was living in Washington. I won't say the comic shop because they were actually really cool people and really nice, but I definitely was like, this seems a little shady. So there was a Captain Marvel book coming out, and it was the first appearance of that character, Star.
Uh-huh.
You guys know what I'm talking about? The girl who's like kind of like a Supergirl, Superwoman. And the previews the month before was like, hey, this book's going to be hot. You know, you should get this book. So I was like, oh, well, cool. I'm right next to the comic shop. I'm going to walk there on Wednesday and just pick it up. Like, because it's, you know, it's a new book. And I go in there and I see there's only one copy, and it's already boarded in, you know, bagged and boarded. But it's on the wall with the other new books. And I go, and it says $12. And I'm like, didn't this just come out like today? And they're like, yeah, but we, the distributors actually only gave us like they didn't really send us many. So we have to kind of get our money. And part of me was going like, did they just pack the rest away? And are they just going to, throughout the day, put out this book as a $12 book? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I bought it because I was like, well, you know, one, there's no other like local comic shop around and when I was living there. So I was like, well, I guess I'll get it. But it made me kind of go like, this book just came out an hour ago and it's $12 and you already have it jacked up. Like, and
usury.
I will say this same shop pulled the thing with, I don't know if you guys remember, but when that character that kind of came and died, but that Major X, like it was Rob Liefeld's return to the X-Men and X-Force and all that. Yeah. There was that book that was controversial because Rob Liefeld was like, I'm in charge of this. It's my character. I'm putting it on a Marvel, but his first appearance will be a variant cover that only I'm selling through my website. But what happened was there was a Spider-Man Deadpool issue. I think it's number 25. And the artist said he said he didn't know because he just thought he thought the book would have already been out. But he put the character in like a collage in the background of one of the scenes. So technically that story preceded the variant number 1 cover of Major X. So people were buying that up. And this same shop I saw all of a sudden didn't have that book. And then the next day it was a $25 book.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so shit like that. It's like, one, you're like, yeah, they're a business and they want to make money. And if they have like extra money right there in their shop, yeah, I guess they're going to want to make it.
Right.
But it's also that balance of like when it's like so close in time to it, like it just came out. It's like they don't even give you a fighting chance. That's what it is.
Nope. I had a shop, Daredevil 25, just recently, within the last, 2-3 months, came out.
Oh, and yeah.
It was first Elektra as Daredevil, right? And it was huge. And I went with a good friend of mine we decided to take a little field trip to San Diego to check out the shops down there because he kept talking about how great they were. And I was like, all right, let's do this. Mm-hmm. So I went down with him and his friend, and we went down there to check out the shops. And we went into his favorite shop. And I was looking all around for Daredevil 25. And then eventually, you know, I'd picked up a couple other books, and I went to the register and I was like, hey, do you have Daredevil 25? And he said, yeah. He said, they're $25 a copy. Wow. It was Wednesday, and the book had just come out. And I said, $25? And he said, yeah. And I said, no, thank you. So what I did was I texted my buddy, Julio from We Can Be Heroes. And I said, hey, can you pull me a copy of Daredevil 25? And he responded. He said, yeah, I got you. And that's all it took. Because, you know, I have a pull list with him. And he still had some on the shelf that he wasn't overcharging for. And he just grabbed one and put it in my pull list for me. And that's how you $4.
And that's how you sustain a business, because you take care of your customers.
Loyalty.
Yeah. It's when you exploit your customers, you know, it's just like... You
piss them off, and you piss them away.
Right. Now, that guy, by the way, my friend that I was with, he bought the book off of him, and the dude gave him a discount. He gave him a friend, like a personal friend, like of the shop discount, and he only charged him $15, by the way.
That is good.
Wow.
$23.25.
Wow.
Yeah, right. Charged him $15. And then he was talking about how, like, yeah, my boy hooks me up and stuff. And I was like, that's great. I'm so happy that he hooked you up. But I said, I still think he ripped you off.
Right. You got yours for what? $3.99, $4.99?
I got mine for $3.99. Yeah.
For cover price.
So,
yeah.
Right. For cover price, as it fucking should be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm going to say they've been doing this for ages. Not every shop, but my hometown shop in Ohio, I can say their name because they no longer exist. Grackle Flint Comics. When the death of Superman happened, I'm aging myself right here. When the death of Superman happened, Grackle Flint Comics, I got in line outside with my dad. I was like, Dad, I got to go. Superman's dead. And he's like, what? And I was like, we need to go to the shop now. And he's like, all right, son, I'll placate you. Let's go to the shop. You're a comic shop with your funny books, and let's go see what happens. So we got there, and he's like, I'm not waiting in line. And I was like, okay. And he's like, I'll wait in the car, though. And I was like, cool, I'll wait in line. So I wait in line until, like, I'm the third in line. Then he gets out, and he gets in line with me. And the lady that co-owner of the shop, she comes out, and she's like, okay, guys. She's like, we only have this many amounts of the first print of the Death of Superman, and we have this many amounts of the second print. The first print is going for $10. The second print is going for $5. If I recall at the time, first print was $2.95 for the black polybagged, and the second print was $1.25. So even they back then were price gouging in a way.
So wow, this is going back almost 30 years they were doing this.
But I was new to comic collecting, so I didn't understand. So I was like, yeah, okay, well, Dad, let's just get the second print. It's cheaper. And my dad's like, yeah, that works for me. So I got the second print of The Death of Superman for $5, and I was completely happy with it. I mean, was it priced more than it should be? Yes. Was it a $4 book priced for $25? No. You know what I'm saying? There's a big difference there. They were charging a little bit more. They were charging, what, $3.75 more than what they should have been?
Right.
For a second print, and then $7 more than what they should have been for a first print, $7.05 to be correct. So, yes, they were overcharging, but they weren't like running me over the coals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially during difficult economic times and a pandemic.
And that's fair to me. I was like, okay, they only got so many in, whatever. Even now I'm like, that's okay. I know I overpaid because I should have gotten it for cover price fairly.
Right.
But even if a shop, like, for example, if a book comes out and they go, okay, we closed the shop. We still had a couple copies left. Now we're going to go on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and we're going to sell these for double the price.
Right.
That's fine.
Totally.
That's fine to me.
Yeah.
Because everybody had their chance to reach out to that shop during their normal business hours. Everybody had a chance to say, hey, I want to create a pull list. Can you put it in there for me?
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I'm going to mention this. The comic book shop that I went to, Grackle Flint Comics, they charged for their pull list.
Oh, wow. Really? I've never heard that before.
Yes, they charged a $10 fee, and it was for life.
Oh my God!
They said, we charge you $10 to pull comics for you, but it's for life. You don't have to ever renew this. It's forever. Like, you're good. We just, it's a pain in the butt, so we charge $10 a person. And I was like, okay, and I paid it. I'm a little kid, I'm like 8 years old, but I'll pay it, and I pulled together my my allowance. I did dishes. I fed my own dog, because I got paid to do that, weirdly enough. But, and I saved up, and I got my pull list, and I took care of it. And after that, to their credit, for the rest of the time, clear up till they went out of business, they never charged me again for that. And every time I needed a book, they always made sure I was taken care of.
Oh, that's good.
But, for example, right now, I have a pull list with We Can Be Heroes, and they don't charge for their pull list because, you really shouldn't. I'm going to be honest here. You really shouldn't, because we're doing you a favor by being a constant customer.
Exactly.
And they're doing us a favor.
Consistent customer, yeah.
Right. Yeah, and they're doing us a favor by consistently pulling the books that we require. So it's kind of a parasitic kind of thing. They're living off us and we're living off them. It's kind of
I think what you meant to say was symbiotic, not parasitic.
Symbiotic. Thank you, Kevin. Symbiotic. Exactly. Yes, it's a symbiotic type of relationship where each person is getting something from that. So it's important. So that I appreciate,
Well, speaking of parasitic, I got a story that it goes in the lines of, as far as it's a shady comic shop dealings, and I was just like flabbergasted when I heard this person's story. So this is a guy on Instagram who I'm buddies with, and in the whole comic community on there. I think his handle is I'll give a shout out. It's Nerd Out for What, which I like. So he posted in his story like, "Hey everybody, should I stop going to this shop?" And then he gave the story, and the story was, now we've all seen a lot of people who sometimes I wonder if people are telling the truth, but some people are just, they have the time and they have the skill, but people go dollar bin hunting at, like, a lot of comic shops have their dollar bins or their 25-cent bins, whatever. They're comics that everything in this book is $1, and this box is $1. And, I've seen some people go like, check out what I got today. A lot of people like to show off that stuff, which is cool. It's like, damn, that's awesome. Like, that's like one of the coolest scores ever, to find like a hot book or a key or even like a minor key in a dollar bin. And this guy goes, so I spent, I'm paraphrasing, but basically he said, I spent hours going through this guy's dollar bin at my local comic shop, and I pulled out some good books. And he shows, I think, some of the books that he pulled out. And he brings them to the counter and says, these are from the dollar bin. And the owner immediately pulls up his key collector app and starts looking up the books. And he goes...
Jarrett, real quick, for those that don't know, what is the key collector app?
Oh, I'm sorry. The key collector app is an app. It's a paid app, but you could also get the free version, which gives you kind of like half the content. But it's this guy who I kind of have a love-hate relationship with him. He really, I don't know if it's just one person, obviously it's a lot of work, but they every week they'll do like a trending 20. Like, he does a lot of analytic stuff. So he'll do like the trending 20 books that kind of awesome people are buying.
And the hot 10.
And they'll do the hot 10 after that. And if you subscribe, you get it quicker.
So they're basically a digital version of Wizard Comics hot list that they used to have.
Totally. Exactly. Yep. And the thing is because it's gotten a lot of hype. I mean, I would definitely say Key Collector, they do their work. Like, they really do their work. And I definitely use the site, and I like it. I like the app, but I don't like how it gets. I think there's a 50-50 give and take with like what we've talked about in other Creases My Pages, market manipulation, and with the story I'm about to tell you right now. So Key Collector, a lot of people, it's gotten a lot of hype. And a lot of people like to use the app, and, especially for the trending stuff of like, oh yeah, that book's hot. This book, oh, look what this book is selling for now. And so this comic shop dealer opens up the Key Collector app from this guy's dollar bin stash and starts going, okay, I can't give you all these books for $1. I can give you these one. Basically, he says, thank you for like the guy. And then the Instagram guy, Nerd Out for What's like, so basically, I just was an employee for this guy. I just went through all these books and found out some good books that he could make money off of. He gave him, I think, half for like the $1 that, what they should be. And he kept the other half. He's like, I can't give you all these for $1. That's not fair. Which is bullshit.
What?
Because it's completely fair.
Wow.
So false advertising, used his customer. I think it was a resounding don't ever go back there as far as like the...
You can report to the Better Business Bureau for false advertising and essentially changing the price at the last second.
Completely. Yeah, completely. Which is why, feeds into another thing. Why I love going to a comic shop that has back issues, because one, it's rare that they have them anymore. And two, it's like, that's part of the fun of going to a comic shop is like digging through their back issues. But what I don't like is going up for a book now and having to be like, are they going to give me a good deal on it? Do they know how much it's like, the mystery shit? So the fact that this was a dollar bin and this guy tried to fuck him over is just such... I heard that story and I was like, what an asshole.
If that would have happened, I would have said, you can take the rest of these books I wouldn't care how much they're worth, by the way. I would say you can take the rest of these books and you could stick them up your ass.
Yeah.
And I would have never gone back. Like,
I tell him, I'd be like, look, dude, I'm going to make your store like persona non grata. Like, I am going to like, I will spend the rest of my days like just hyping your store as a thief, you know, as just a black hole of crap. Yeah.
Yeah. You have things and they're priced and then you bring them up. Now there's a difference. Like if you go to a store and you'd be like, oh, this says $8.99. Well, it's ringing up as $10.99. I'm sorry, you know. Let me get a manager. And a manager comes over and usually what they say is, yeah, go ahead and give it to him then for that because that's how we have it priced. Yeah. That's the way it usually goes and that's the way it should be. Comic shops that have dollar books, I'm sorry, but like if you have them labeled, that's just it. That's it.
It's on you. It's on you.
They were telling me again, and I'm sorry, I'm going to keep bringing them up, but We Can Be Heroes, Bill from We Can Be Heroes was telling me, he said they have a customer that comes in all the time and he pulls like $20, $30 books from their dollar books. And he'll come over and he'll be like, hey guys, you didn't know you had this, but look what I got. He won't say, you know, oh, you know, I'm not taking it. Of course, he already paid for it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of rubbing it in their noses, I guess, in a way.
He's doing the reverse.
Yeah, right. I would say do not do that. Because that just makes you look like a dick too. Because you're like, I got you. You know,
exactly. Like, but you know, but Bill was also, to his credit, he was like, wow, man. He's like, that's great. He's like, see, you never know what you can find here. Right. And I loved that response. It was such a very juvenilely innocent response. You know what I mean? It was such a good response. It was the best response he could possibly give in that scenario, given the circumstances. Some people would be like, well, fuck you, get out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm,
but they didn't do that. They said, oh, well, congratulations, you got some gems. Keep coming back and you'll probably find some more, you know, because they want to keep those repeat customers coming back. If you tell somebody, no, these were mispriced, I can sell you some of these, but
that's what was great with Spiro's Heroes as well.
What's that? I'm sorry, Kevin?
That's what was great about Spiro's Heroes as well. You never knew what you could find in their bins.
Well, not only that, but they in Spiro's, you know, you and I were just there, and Elliot priced some books for us, and he said, you know what? He said, this is $40 worth of books that we have it priced. Give me $30. Right? Said, you sure? I always ask. I say, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, and because what happens to a real collector and like a real good customer is they're going to come back.
Yep,
that's right, and send referrals.
Kevin and I have been coming back to that place, Spiro's Heroes, for what, 12 years?
12 years, 12 years, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the shop you took me to, Donald, and I think I ran into you, Kevin, for the first time, I think, on one of those trips.
That's correct.
When I got back into collecting comics, you're like, okay, we got to go to this place then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you and me would mind the boxes for hours, and Kevin would come in and talk to Elliot and stuff, and we would be hanging out, and it was a good time. Those were the heydays of comic books, back when you could buy a book for a reasonable price. That was a key, you know.
Donald, your Polis story reminded me of another, and once again, this is a shop that's no longer existing, but it was in Tarzana, and this guy who ran the shop, he was really cool as far as like, I would say, like, do you have this book? I just sat in there one day and it's like, do you have this book? And you just go in the back, and he's pulling all these great books. And I got a lot of good deals from him. But I remember at one point, and he was literally the comic book shop Simpsons guy in real life. Yeah. He wasn't as heavy, but he was definitely a little chubby, had a ponytail, and didn't like really talked like this. Like I remember him going off on a dad one day because it was when Pokemon first came out, like the first run of it. And a dad was like, hey, do you have this Pokemon card for my son? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. He was like, he's like, I deal in Silver Age and Bronze Age comic books. The only reason I have Pokemon cards is because I need to pay the rent and have a roof over my head. And I was like, whoa, what a dick. but this guy had a Polis, and I had a Polis with him. And then I think I lost my job. So I was like, hey man, I gotta quit. Can I cancel my Polis? I just don't have the money for it. And he was like, well, there's a rule. You still have to pay for the next like 2 months.
Whoa.
And the part of me was like now part of me was like, I would have been like, yeah, okay, fuck you, and then never came back. But I was like, oh man, like, you know, like we didn't have a contract. There was nothing signed or anything. And I was like, oh, okay. So I had to like, yes, it was cool to have comics, but at the same time, I was like, I can't really like afford these right now, but I guess I got to buy my comics for the next 2 months. Because he was like, yeah, you can't just, you like part of the rule when you sign up is you have to give me like 2 months notice. I was like,
wow.
We had a guy.
I've never heard anything like that before.
Yeah.
That's crazy. We had a guy.
And now he's gone.
We had a guy at Grackle Flint Comics was the name of it again, you know, my hometown. And his name was Mitch. And Jarrett, he had the ponytail. He was a large man and he was a redhead. And and he had like that like kind of a scraggly beard type thing going for him.
Nice.
You couldn't be more like, I don't understand. It was like the Simpsons must have gone through our town and like gone to that shop. It was like the perfect thing. And he was always kind of cranky and stuff, but his wife Shelly, she was super cool, and which is funny because then later one of my favorite characters, Resurrection Man, guess what his name was?
Mitch Shelley.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Yeah, kind of crazy. So I always had a good time going in there, but I always had fun when it was the wife because she was always just like very fun, and the husband was a little bit cranky and stuff like that. But then I started going to a shop about 45 minutes north after they went out of business. In that shop, the gentleman that owned that shop, it was Land of Cran in Canton, Ohio. In that shop, the guy actually ended up getting sick and passing away. And then they closed that shop. So then the closest shop to me became like another shop in Canton, but there was like not exactly in the, I won't say it's the best part of town, but it's not terrible. And I actually go there every time I go home. And if I recall, I think the name of it is a comic connectivity or comic fun or something like that. And the guy there is super cool, but he doesn't go through, and he told me this 100%. He said, I don't update the prices on my books. He said, I'm too old and too tired. So he said, if you find a book and it's a hot book now, in whatever that price is on that book, it is yours. He said, I don't care.
Yeah, those are the comic shops I miss. Of like,
I get a good like chuckle.
I get having to like go through your books again and be like, oh god, okay, like I gotta up the price now or whatever. But damn, I miss going through bins and it just said $3. Like it just had the price on it already, and they honored that price.
And you know what it was? We actually did a podcast, a video, kind of like a video on conventions. Jarrett, me, and Kevin. I think it was like Long Beach or WonderCon.
Long Beach Expo.
Yeah. And I remember at one of them, Jarrett, you turned to the camera and you said these comic prices are ridiculous. And I don't think it was Long Beach. I think it was WonderCon, guys.
Oh, it was WonderCon? Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was WonderCon. We did one where like Jarrett looked at the camera and he's like, these prices are ridiculous. It could have been Long Beach, but it feels like WonderCon.
Right.
And we just kept
moving
around and filming and kind of shaming these vendors that were just selling for outrageous prices.
Especially ASM 375. That's one of my personal favorite ripoffs.
What was that, Kevin? What about that?
Amazing Spider-Man 375. It has like that cover. It's like Spider-Man and Venom, but it's like it's not really. It's something that's just overrated or overhyped. At least right now.
Okay, is that the one where Venom's coming like straight at the
camera or something?
Yeah,
not the camera, but just at you. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was my first Venom book I ever bought, but yeah, anything.
Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry, that's not it. It's the one where they're almost like they're doing like a wrestling, you know, the test of strength. That's what it is. It's that cover.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that was a great story, Kevin. That was the best story I've ever heard. Thank you for sharing.
No. Well, you know what? The best story was from yesterday. Of course, this won't be broadcast in time, but you know the thing going on with the Batman Fortnite 0.1 with the.
Oh yeah, you just dated us, Kevin. Jesus Christ.
But just, it was crazy, man. I'm like, wow, I'm going around, I'm calling around, especially for you, because you're the one who told me about it. So, it kind of piqued my interest. And it's like, okay. And most places were sold out, but the ones that weren't, with the exception of one, the spot I found, they had it for $15. But everywhere else that did have it, $30. And they didn't even hesitate when they told me that over the phone.
So there's a story behind this Batman Fortnite book, and this will definitely come out before the Fortnite series has ended, the Batman Fortnite, because it's a 6-parter. Each issue has a digital code, and you combine the digital codes to create a Batman skin, I believe, for a character in Fortnite.
So it's got to be all 6 of the issues?
Yeah. From what I understand, you have to combine all the codes from all 6. Now, I could be wrong.
Well, the first issue does have one code for a certain costume. I think it's for Harley Quinn.
Oh, okay. So it's different. Okay, then it's different codes that equal like different characters and stuff. Who gives a shit? Honestly, I've never played Fortnite in my goddamn life. But those of you that love it, hey, good for you. But you put these codes and like you get all these characters and shit, and people love it, and they're just standing in a line and they're jerking off, and it's cool. I appreciate that. That's fine. Whatever you want to do, you do you, boo. But people are losing their minds over this, so they want to get every single issue. They want to get the first issue, the second issue, the third issue, the fourth issue, fifth issue, and sixth. There's 6 issues, and each one has a digital code in it. And the question that Kevin and I were asking was, are they going to a second print? And the answer is yes, they're going to a second print. Are they going to a third? The answer is yes, they're going to a third print. Will those books have the same goddamn code? The answer is yes. They'll have the same code. So this first issue that everybody's losing their goddamn minds over, in a week or two, they're going to get the second print, and they're going to get the code anyway.
So it doesn't even really fucking matter.
I
mean, I know from a collecting point of view, people will be like, "Well, this is but it doesn't matter because it's the first appearance of a code."
Yeah. This is a great marketing idea that is failing. Like, they didn't do enough. And they're not. And if they had done it the way that I just described it, that you had to combine every single code, then everybody would want every single issue in order to do that. It's part of a code. Are they coming out
monthly or weekly?
Yeah, it's like 6 issues, like a 6 mini series.
Yeah, from what I know, it's going to be 6 months.
All right, but there will be a combination. If you get all 6 issues, there will be something involved about. If you get all 6, there will be something that you'll get.
I think you get like a hand job or something.
Oh, come on!
By Ben Affleck and Christian Bale.
Yeah, that sounds good. And Michael Keaton just watches.
Yeah. He just like hovers over in the suit.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
Well, on the hand job note, right? That's a good way to go out.
Yeah. I think this is a good way to end this one. So thank you all for listening very, very much. We do a live video podcast every Monday, basically, or almost Mondays, where we do a lot of fun stuff. We're on the Rumble Spoon Productions YouTube page. So you can go to there. You can subscribe to us on there. It's wonderful, guys. We very much appreciate you doing that. You go in, you subscribe, and then every Monday we do a wonderful podcast. We have a great amount of podcasts coming up that are just a shitload of fun. You're going to have a blast. And then we do every Thursday/Friday, we do an audio podcast that we release. That's also really fun. It's a wide variety of audio podcasts that are a little different from our video podcasts. So we release content a couple times a week. So please tune into those. You can find us, of course, on YouTube on the Rumble Spoon Productions page. You can also find us on Spreaker. You can find us on TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Yes, iHeartRadio. You can find us on Spreaker, I think I mentioned, and Apple Podcasts as well. So we're all over the place.
For every 100 subscribers that you bring in, we give you a Fortnite code.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
We'll give you a Fortnite code. We'll open our books and just give you the damn code. We don't.
I don't know what I don't know if they'll do anything for your game, but I'll give you a code that.
And also, once we crack our 100th, when we crack our 100,000th subscriber, you get to go and spend a night at Jarrett's mansion.
That's right.
Casa de Galante.
That's right.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
It's behind the Del Taco, where the comic shop was.
That was you? Son
Hope
of a
you like the comics, kid.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in, everybody. We very much appreciate it. My name is Donald.
My name is Dr. Kevin. Please subscribe.
My name is Jarrett. Handjobs.
Jarrett Handjobs. All right. And if we don't see me, Kevin, or Jarrett Handjobs out and about anytime soon, we will see you
at the spacious, gracious, righteous, sweet, effervescent comic book
shop. Fortnite Handjobs.
This has been The Real Short Box. We'll see you at the comic shop. Thanks for listening.